All right then. So now let's go ahead and design some basic UI. So I'm gonna clean up this entire stuff, delete it, save it, and I'm going to clean this up completely, delete it and save it. Right. So over here, I'm gonna bring the boilerplate codes exactly, and I'm gonna change this as basic UI as the title, and I'm gonna bring the link tag which is coming from /assets css and styles.css. All right, so these things are fine. Now we loaded our styles.css, and let's refresh it, and you can see we have the title changed as the basic UI over here, right? So what we are going to do is, so basically, we're gonna simply create a box, a simple block box in the center of the screen. So for that, so this how to target a specific portion in our entire website. So that's the reason we are going to use a tag called division, a very specific part in an entire website body, right? That's how you can arrange it in a part by part. You can break the entire website into a part by part, right? So for this div, I'm going to create a class name, give a class name as, let's say, box, something like this. This is the way you can create it, or you can simply type div dot box, something like this. This is called Zen coding, right? If you tab this, so that will create it like this way. So the method of called Zen coding, which is inbuiltly integrated with your Visual Studio Code, which is really helps you to when you're working with the websites. For instance, let's say I want to create a tag with the class name called box. Inside this box, I need to create 3 more divisions with the class name called boxes, something like that. And if you press the tab, and sorry, we need 3 boxes, right? So multiply it with 3, right? Then press the tab. So that will gives you the 3 different boxes with the division with the class name inside the box. So this is how you can easily create the code in a much easier way. Now this is all we need. And then if I right click at it, and if I click the inspect elements, and I can see all the HTML elements whatever I created. You can see the element which I created, the box, and you can see where the box is. And the top you can see div.box is 100 and 125 pixels width and 0 pixels height, right? So if I go to the network, and you can see this is the place where you can see all the external files and the APIs, how it's been loaded and how long it takes to load it. So this really helps us to understand how fast the entire website it is, right? So, and you can at the end you can check the performance level also, how fast the website it's being performing, like the images and everything, how fast it's being loaded, right? If you go to the sources, and you can see the file structure, public assets inside CSS, and you can see the styles.css, and you have the index.structure. So these are the things that we have the understand how the files and everything it's been working over here, right? Now let's get into the elements, and in the right side you can see the styles, whatever the styles it's by default it's being applied. And you can see for the body tag by default we're having some unwanted margins, right? You can see unwanted margin, you can see it's taking some unwanted space. So how I'm telling you that, it's because if I'm typing something like hi, you can see the hi it's not very closer, the hi it's not very closer to the top or to the bottom. So I need to change that. So what I'm going to do is, inside the styles I'm going to target the every single element by typing star. I'm going to remove the margin for every single element by 0, and for the padding as well as 0, right? And I'm going to change the entire layout as the border box. So if you're changing the entire layout to the border box, you can align the entire stuff either like what's the you can see this will helps you to specify the behavior by using the width and height properties. So I can, for each division I can give a separate height and width properties and everything. So that really helps us for the alignment purposes. So box sizing as a border box, so margin, padding and box sizing, border box. Once I save this changes, now we can see now we can see the entire stuff it's being pushed to the top and left corner. All right, so let me delete this text. I don't want this text anymore. All right, so now I need to bring this content. You can see inside this body, this division is completely in the top. I need to bring this inside. So first I'm going to target that box. So dot box. So the width of this box should be, let's say 325 pixels. And the height of this box is going to be, let's say 470 pixels. And the background color, it's going to be hash F9, 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 something like this. Or you can change the color directly, move your cursor over there, and you can change the color of the, say it changes. Okay, so let me close this, and the fast refreshing is not working properly. Let me open this in the live server one more time. There we go. And you can see it changed over here. All right. But the box, it's in the top left corner. By default, your entire website stuff is always in the top left corner, and it's always the top to bottom direction. So I need to bring this in the center. So if I need to bring the center, first I need to understand the width and height of the body tag. So if you check the width and height, it's not a problem. It's taking the complete width. But see the height. Height is based on the content what I kept inside in that particular body tag. So I need to enhance the height of the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target this body tag. So width of this body tag is going to be 100 VW. VW in the sense viewport width. It should always take the complete viewport with width. It means whatever the device it's being loaded, it should take the device width and height. So that's the reason we are using the width 100 VW only inside the body tag. Keep it in mind. If you are using viewport width, you should keep it inside the body tag. Then height, it's going to be 100 VH. Save the changes. Now if you check your body tag, why it's always asking me to refresh it? Let me stop this. And let me restart it, because styles is not changing instantly. I don't know why. Inspect elements, body tag. Now you can see the body tag is taking the complete viewport width and height. You can see it's covering the entire screen width and height. Now this needs to bring this entire content in the center. So for that, I'm going to type few styles, and I will explain it what I'm typing. Display flex, align item center, and justify content in the center, and the flex direction is going to be the column. So now everything will be in the center of the screen. So don't worry about this stuff. I'm going to explain this about the Flexbox, how to use the flex containers and flex properties and everything very briefly in the next sections. Don't worry about the part. Now it is in the center of the screen. So I'm going to delete this background color, and let's keep it anyways. So I'm going to change this border radius. You can see it's having a very sharp edges. So I'm going to change this border radius as, let's say 10 pixels or something. You can see now we don't have that pointy edges. So now let me delete this. We can't see anything, but I can bring it back. I can show some material shadow effects to make it visible. So box shadow, let's say 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, and RGBA, red, blue, green, alpha, 0, 0, 0, and 0. For the time being, I'm going to keep it 1. So currently I don't see anything. So let's say I want to move that box shadow from top to left or something. You can see from the top left corner to the right side, you can see we have a line, right? And if I want to bring it bottom a little bit, so I can bring it bottom, like top to left. Now you can see I have the shadow effects in the top right and the bottom right corner. If I want to change it in the left direction, all I have to do is to use minus. Now I can bring it this side, this corner, minus, something like this, right? So if I want to do the same thing, I can simply give inset. I want to bring the shadow effect inside the box, then I can keep it as an inset, something like this, right? So, and this blur, this is the blur point. If I say, you can see now I have the shadow effects inside the box. If I remove this inset, you can see shadow is completely outside the box. If I want to bring it inside, I need to use the inset. Now the shadow effect is inside the box, right? And this is the blur color. This is the blur point. These blur points will help you to blur the effects of your color. So if I change this to 100% from 20 percentage, you can see we have a nice shadow effect. And if you want to keep the both inside and outside, I can keep it like this. Say the changes. Now I have the shadow effect on outside. Now I have the shadow effect on inside. And now you can see we have a nice shadow effect, which looks like some kind of glassy model, something like that, which looks in that way, right? So these are the some styling properties that we are going to learn more and more in this sections and everything. So next on the upcoming session, we're going to learn how to use these display flex properties in a more and more clear way. All right, so let's go ahead and try to understand that.